Hi, everybody. Few seconds late. Sorry about that. Getting warmed up. It's actually by the end of this week, we're going to be in the 90s here. So, for all of you who are sitting in snow, I'm going to let you know we've gone from having to use the heat to having to do the AC. Um, and it's just that day, it's just that kind of way. And we are on day 6. Yay! Of the 7 days to the equinox. You know what we're doing, we're working out a plan, but everybody's plan is going to be uh, different. But everybody's plan is going to be coming out of a winter and going into a spring. It's not a rigid plan. It's not a rigid plan, but it's something to help us have more of a sense of direction. Instead of just turning around and accepting what other people are saying about what's going on, we're going to be part of things. And so today, I don't know if any of you noticed it, but in the graphics I'm using for each day in the introduction to this for StreamYard, today's crystal was a fluorite, and I had to choose between kind of in my head between a fluorite and a citrine. And so I ended up doing a fluorite on the graphic and a citrine in real life. They're both warm stones. This is the citrine that I've owned. I've owned this for years, for 12 years or so. And citrine in the Middle Ages, it was called the merchant stone. And every merchant, every store you would go into, at least in Europe, and I presume other parts of the world, there you would find they'd have citrine in there somewhere, because citrine drew in money, it drew in prosperity, drew in proper growth. So if we're going to invest this time to change our lives and to consider what visions we want to have, we ought to think about thinking of them in terms of growth. Now, think about, just in a quiet moment, think about where you're moving in the next few months. Let your thoughts drift forward. When you're thinking about it, think about, where are you standing? What's grown up around you? Spiritually, physically, if you have a garden and physical plants, and how that feels. And if you come to the show tomorrow, I did get a picture of Hogarth with his flower buds on him. And I've been watching Hogarth for about 4 years now, and I'd never seen him bud before. But this spring, he had buds out on him, and I got a really good picture of it. He's also doing something weird. He's kind of leaning to one side. He tells me everything's fine. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. But kind of, do you see yourself out looking at the green plants budding? Do you see them in full bloom? Do you see yourself going up to a tree and picking an apple off of it because your spring's gotten that far? Just take a few minutes when you get a quiet moment to think about that. Allow those images and feelings and those ideas to just come out of us naturally. It's nothing we should be forcing. And today, our tarot reflection is going to be on where my intentions need to grow. And the crystal we're using today, and I'll show it, I've got it on the table. I've got 3 versions of citrine on the table: small, medium, and large. I've got my large citrine, which is one that I would use on my reading table to draw in people, and it works. Days I would forget to take it, I would realize I didn't have as much traffic. Then these are normal citrines. These are tumbled citrines. These are citrines that I'll use on a grid. And some of them are completely clear. If you can see that, the color goes, it's like clear, like a yellow color. They're absolutely gorgeous. Fluorites are that way too. They let the light come through and be changed by their presence. And then these little bitty guys, these little bitty, these are called chips. And I don't even know if you can see them in my hand because it's such a fair color. But the chips, that's a citrine that you can get too. You can get citrine chips. And chips, one of these chips has as much energy as this, and they have as much energy as this. It's how we look at them, what we do with them that makes a difference. So our lives are kind of like that. It doesn't kind of matter the size of your life. It's citrines sit around us with clarity, confidence, forward movement, looking for a way to illuminate the path for us. The light continues to expand, but it doesn't matter whether it's going through a little crystal like that, a small moment in your life, or something that you can carry with you, or something you just want to keep near you to remind you mentally. And so we're going to lay our tarot cards today. I'm going to use the fairy deck again because I really like it for this. And as we move towards the height of summer and then into the fall, when the time light and dark get equal again, and then we fall into darkness. Trying to shuffle these are huge, very stiff cards. Very stiff cards. We're going to put 3 cards out. And this is for the collective. And you can do this for yourself when you're trying to say, okay, which way am I going? If you can't come up with a clear idea, try this. We're going to ask where you're standing right now, what's going on around you, and what will feel different in you as we go through this progression. So this is where we're standing now. This is 6 of winter. And it says, positive changes are on their way, a welcome relief from troubled times, traveling or relocating. That's like the 6 of swords, 6 of wands. 6, I'm teaching a course on numerology tonight. My class starts tonight. Yay. 6s relate to hearth and home and things that we have around us. That's what the 6 card. But this one's drawing us into thinking about our future. This is where we're standing right now. What will be growing around us? Oh, 9 of spring. Wonderful, wonderful. Protect the fruits of your labor. Prepare for what's ever possible and the challenges that lie ahead. And to be conservative about how you deal with your own environment. Don't give everything away. Keep things for yourself. Take care of yourself. That's like the lady standing in the garden with all the garden stuff glowing around her. And what feels different within us and what will feel different within us as we go through this transition. Follow your passion when it comes. Okay. Follow your passion when it comes to you. Be the best at what you can do. And we're going to be well compensated for the labor and the work we put into this. This is the 3 of autumn. So you've worked hard and you've gotten there, and it says to accept it with good passion. And that's sort of what today's about. Today is that day. We're shaking winter off. Tomorrow, when Dorothy's here, tomorrow I will have Dorothy Morgan with me for the 7th day of the countdown, because the next day will be the equinox, and you need to get ready for that. Now, I've noticed a lot of the other things that I'm going to warn you about this period of time. These cards are saying the light continues to expand, so live with it. There's no need to really rush towards what's going to happen. The path is already unfolding, and when we get to the third card, it's not a conclusion. The path continues to unfold for us. And I'm going to come back to me. I'm going to tell you about tomorrow. Tomorrow, you'll see the thing come up later today. But tomorrow's clear quartz. So we've gone from smoky quartz, where we weren't quite sure where we were. We've gone through different kinds of paths of stones that have different vibrations. And tomorrow is going to be clear quartz. And we're going to have a beautiful piece of clear quartz up for that. And I hope you'll come, because that's the day when we say you should start to feel this movement inside of you. What's happening to you is going on inside of you. And I'm going to answer, I thought, if you're going to a gem show this weekend, look around and see what appeals to you. I would have had more fluorites out with this display. I cannot find, I had a bag of fluorites, and I'm really upset that I can't find them, because fluorites are getting harder and harder to find, because most of our fluorites come out of China. Now, if someone has a back stock of fluorite and has it out there, great. But it's mainly the best fluorite, at least, is the octahedrons, which are the funny little cubey ones I like. They come out of China. And I was moaning. I know it's back here in my drawer somewhere. It's just hiding from me. And we had a couple questions. Am I going to do a class on the elementals? Barbara, I'm working on it. I'm figuring out how to structure it. It'll probably be 12 weeks long. It'll be one day a week, and it may be one of the first things I put behind membership, where you have to be a member to come and see the class, and then eventually I'll let it loose on the public. And thank you, Adrienne. You're so excited about this time of change. Yes. And what it was, there was another question. Blessings to everyone who coming and sharing in this. And yes, the Bay Area is in the 90s. We hear that from Danny too. But like we said, this country's a mixed bag. It's winter today in Pennsylvania. Okay, this lady says, I think I'm a crystal empath. I can feel vibrations just from photos of gemstones. That's true. That's a good way to sort through them. The only set of photos that I ever found that didn't work for me, there was a woman, she did the mystical tarot. It's very, very abstract tarot. She did, and I can show you these cards because they totally and utterly confounded me. 5 years ago, after she'd been so successful with the mystical tarot, she came out with this crystal grid tarot. And I thought, this will be great. I'd love this, to check it out. And what she did, and I took a friend of mine, it's an interesting deck. I cannot make it work. It will not work for me. And that's not saying there's anything wrong with it. It doesn't work for me, but I'll show you why. These are the cards she created. They're shaped like this. And she did all of her crystals. This is rainbow quartz, rainbow aura quartz. But if you don't, I didn't realize it till I was trying to play with them. I could not make these things work. I could, if I got the right stone out, I could make it work. Well, this was my first trip into AI. And I'm trying to find one that's maybe, they show some very esoteric stones in here that you don't see often. This was her turquoise. And I don't know how it's coming across on the screen, but when you're in real life with it, it has that particular card for me had none of the feeling of turquoise. And I couldn't figure out, I was playing with it and playing with it, and playing with it. And I thought, what's wrong with me? And the woman who helped me do a lot of work, Alma, that she helped design the garden and she did a lot of work with me. She was a geologist. That was her degree, it was in geology. And she was talking to me about it, and she said she went and found a deck, and she said it's because they're made from AI images. They're like super at that time. We now know a lot more about what AI is, but at that time I didn't. I knew it was a thing that somebody thought was going to happen long in the future. But those are AI images. They're not even pictures of real stones. They're not even fixed up pictures of real stones. I can work all day with this deck, the Tarot of the Crystals, gemstones, and because they're real pictures. Do you get what the difference is? Maybe I'm not explaining. This is a close up of amber. I have amber. I touched amber. I have amber here. Amber is an ancestor stone because it was once tree sap that got hardened. If you're a crystal empath, I'd be interested if you ever found this deck, Magical Mermaid, if you'd let me know what you think about it, because I actually dug it out of my collection of things to dig through because I thought I'd be able to use some of those images in this show, since I was going to include crystals as well as cards, but I never could make it work. It never worked for me. And I think she's brilliant. I think the woman who put this all together, and especially I think her Mystic Tarot, is absolutely marvelous. I love working with it. I don't work with it nearly as much as I used to, but anyway, it's kind of a word of warning. People are ready for big changes. That's what you need to get. And I'm trying to see if there's something else we can talk about. I don't know, Magic, if you think that's true. I played with them every way. She sent out a layout grid for you to use the stones. It was quite an elaborate thing. She taught you how to supposedly read with them. I could never get them to work. And okay, let's see. And I don't know why, because I don't have any magicians hanging around me, and I read the magician card and use other things all the time. But anyway, so I'm not going to razz on somebody. I think she had a brilliant idea. I just don't think it got executed properly somehow. Well, I know how. They're not really stones. And I don't know who was doing them, if they're just ripping them off to do anyway. She could remake it. It's a lot of work. I did send her a little sort of critique from me. I don't know if that had any great meaning to her. Anyway, I want to thank everyone who's here. I want to remind you to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 7. We're going to be with Dorothy Morgan. She's going to talk about that. Tomorrow is the new moon. This is a very powerful new moon. This new moon has everything. It's got new moon. It's at the 28th degree of wherever it is up there in the sky. It's hitting at a time when, by moving where it is, all of the things we see in the sky are locked into, I think they're only in 4 of the 12 astrologic signs, and they're all clumped together. It's sort of like the planets have gone into a traffic jam. But the interesting thing is we have no oppositions, because you have to have something on the other side. You have to have something at 90 degrees to make a square, and I don't even think there's any squares. There's a lot of, there'd be sextiles which I won't bore you with if you didn't like geometry in the first place. But it's a very, very, very unusual time. And I'm glad everybody's come through for these videos this week. I get a lot of people who watch them later in the day. And I got 27 of you here today. I've enjoyed doing this series. Like I said, my little mind I was told to do this series. I was told, I sat down one night, wrote out what all the days were going to be about, what all the crystals were going to be about, because I was told to start this the day before it started. So day one was, I was typing all that up, and then I've had to work my way through all of the 7 days. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're really thinking through. I think too often we have big events that are happening up in the sky and are happening within the universe, and we get so bogged down to what's just in front of us that we don't really pay that much attention to it. Today I posted something, and it's something I believed in for so long. This woman was talking about how much happier the people she was that were around her, how much more capable they felt when they quit tying into what was negative, and they began to think about how they can create positive around them in small ways. And I think that's really important. So thank you, everybody. And I will see those of you who are coming tonight for the numerology class. And that's the first part of the tarot class. So thank you very much. Talk to you later. Bye.